we sail to Elba, the exiled home of Napoleon, where we find an island of beautiful historic towns, white sandy beaches and even some surf. With such an idyllic island, why did Napoleon ever feel the need to escape? Another lazy day. Wind's only about 3 knots, so it's just autopilot and helping Aiden with his distance ed.
We're about to arrive in Porto Azzurro on the west coast of Elba. Well, this certainly is a wonderful spot. We're just south of Porto Azzurro, and it's been a while since we've had wooden hills and beaches, and the water's so fantastic. I'm going to go for our second swim. In fact, I've reprioritized Starbucks first, swim second, and then gin and tonic. Hi, the boat's going away.
Ciao, ciao! Ready? 3, 2, 1, go! Hip, hip, hooray!
It's a nice and calm spot, so we thought we'd fire up the barbecue. And we're just about done.
There's a hopeful herring gull back there.
Yeah, very.
Not for you, buddy. This makes the yummiest mashed potato ever. Oil from the barbie. Okay, bon appetito! Thank you, Phil.
We're heading to a place called Lancona on the southern end of Elba. While it's beautiful here, Lancona looks to be even better, promising to have white sandy beaches. That looks to be an old, disused iron ore mine. Elba historically was a huge source of iron. In fact, the Roman legionnaires' short swords, iron came from Elba. It was only 60 years ago, in the 50s, that they mothballed the iron ore industry in favour of tourism. And they have done an amazing job because it is a huge destination for tourists.
It's all sand seabeds, except for further out that way. It's the biggest sand seabed in the world. Well, you can't even say it's a seabed because it's too big.
1, go!
Whee!
This is probably the closest I'm going to get to surfing in the Med.
Are you going to
surfing them in. I see you can't do
Too funny.
That's because I ran back.
I got so surprised that I pressed stop record. Now I'm starting again. Well, this is the most pleasant way to clean the bit of the boat that needs the most cleaning, which is just around their exhaust. Some black residue from the diesel, as well as the yellow stain that starts forming around it. Just needs a little bit of extra TLC, so that's what I'm doing right now.
She could do nose on that, but
When it's still, the water clarity is just incredible. It reminds me a bit of Paxos in Greece. We're in 6 meter depth, yet it looks like you could almost touch the sand below us.
that water is so clear.
Okay.
Now we're using the tender motor. Well, the davit for the tender motor.
Is the microphone on?
Let's
There
lower
it
it.
is.
Let's lower it, Phil. Keep going. Keep going. Beautiful. Okay. First time.
Yay.
Yep, that's in the middle. Alright.
Okay.
Done.
Yep.
Okay, she's on. Yesterday we were at La Cona, the biggest beach here in Elba. Today La Conella, the little one, the little sister around the corner. It's not as clear as some places like Paxos. That's because I think the bay is not so well flushed to the sea. But what we gain and what we lose in clarity, we gain in warmth. Just beautiful, still, warm water. Which is good for someone like me, not a lot of insulation. So I've just enjoyed probably an hour around here. Marciano. We've made an early morning getaway from Lacona, which is on the south of Elba. We're zipping around the corner up to the north, Marciano. Up there, hopefully more of the same actually, plus a few mountains to explore.
One thing that we've seen time after time is cruisers' blatant disregard of any regulations. For example, right now we're passing over an area that's both no fishing and no anchoring, yet that cruiser up ahead is clearly anchored. And what's more is every cruiser has AIS on. By their size, I guess they're required to. Yeah, that one's turned it off.
Well, that's a shame that they're ripping up the nature reserve, and I hope they're watching this part of the video right now.
Elba's most famous resident was a Corsican, of course. Napoleon, on his defeat after Waterloo, was exiled here for about just under a year. His villa was in Portoferraio, which we'll see in the next few days.
The King of Elba, that's how the locals referred to Napoleon while he was in exile here in Elba. Possibly a bit tongue-in-cheek, considering that he was previously the ruler of a vast empire.
We are in Marciano now, the north side of Elba. And there are sure a few little small boats like that one, which has got 2 people, and it's only about, I think it's only about 10 to 15 feet long. Up there, big mountains. One of them is 950 meters tall. Small boats, big mountains.
It's pretty cozy around here. There's a lot of us who've had the same idea about anchoring. There's a beautiful dog straight ahead there on that boat. I adore dogs.
Marciano was once the fashionable part of Elba. It looks to still retain some of that charm.
Cactuses in Marciano have ripe fruit, so I'm back to my favourite pastime of foraging. It's quite tasty.
Very ouchy on my finger.
It's like pawpaw, papaya.
Definitely feels very different. The northern coast of Italy in the Tuscan Islands feels more like the French Riviera. This looks to be a lovely town to while away the Saturday afternoon, but the beaches just to the east look fantastic, so we're off.
We've just hauled up anchor from Marciano. It's time to check out some gorgeous sandy beaches just around the corner.
That's a beautiful boat, unique, fine lines.
We have sand.
This may well be as close as you get to a beach paradise in this part of the Med, at least on an island as crowded as Elba. A rugged coastline, a long sandy beach, and warm waters. There was some serious surf here, 6 to 8 feet waves, and there was 3 guys surfing them. There would have been the time that we were sheltered away in Ponza when you had those 30 to 35 knot wind days. So yeah, you do get some serious surf around here.
And Kalina and I kept ribbing you about bringing a surfboard.
The thing I'm trying to figure out is, how do we moor Tranquilo close to surf? Because anywhere there's going to be 6 to 8 foot surf, this is going to be the best place to moor Tranquilo. It's going to have to be around a peninsula where we can scroll away Tranquilo around the back, sheltered, and I can cross across to the other side of the peninsula and go surfing. Still got to figure that one out.
This is one of the joys of sailing. It's just unencumbered sunset, just sun, sea, neighbouring boats, and we're having our dinner.
By the way, I got no undies on.
It's okay.
I see what you mean by equalise your ears.
Yeah. Yep.
You're coming out now?
Well, it's been an action-packed morning. Swimming and snorkeling, and we're underway.
Except we're just going to the other side of Elba or something. This red boat?
Yes, it's quite a flotilla heading over to Biodola this morning. Sunday traffic.
you like chandeliers, Chiesa dell'Assunta is your place. These steps lead to the palace where Napoleon was exiled. He started fights, he started battles with people. This is it, Palazzo Molini.
This would have been Napoleon's view. I reckon it must have driven him crazy, knowing that France was just over the horizon, his homeland. 10 months later, he did thwart the English Navy and weaved his way through it, I guess it was at dusk, and yeah, went back to France and started the war again. Tell you what, if I had that villa and had just been beaten up quite sensibly by the English, I think I would have just, you know, retired, moved on, taken up painting or sailing.
Sailing, definitely sailing. Right, let's go to the fort.
I feel like the Grand Object of York. 10,000 men climbed the top, up to the top of the mountain and climbed them down again.
That the town, Portofino, was known as Cosimo's town after Cosimo de' Medici. So the Medicis sponsored a lot of art and architecture all throughout northern Italy, kind of spurred on the Renaissance. And Cosimo built this fort to protect the town against a Turkish pirate around 1550 who scouted out the area and then reported back that this was invulnerable, not worth touching, so the fort worked. It was against the Turks and the French, who were in alliance with the Turks. It's a great place to visit and see the view of town.
I don't know what this is. Excuse me, I don't know what this is. Does somebody live in here? No. Oh wow. There's a big bunny in there. That way. Oh, hi. Hello.
Right, this is through the guts of the fort, back down to town.
Yeah, but this, what's this? What's the man?
Part of the museum.
Huh?
Part of the museum.
There's nothing better than after a hike in the hot Italian sun than a Venita Limone, just sugar, ice and lemon.
And I got sugar, ice and cherry.
Amarena.
Yeah. That is big. Actually, we don't think that it is an oyster. It looks a bit different.
I have no idea.
And this is more my style. Little boat, good job.
What's a visit?
They're heading our way as well.
Oh, where are they going?
Towards Australia as well.
What? They're going back to Australia?
Well, towards Australia, yeah.
Esagerare, Nicolas! rallenta. Dai Giulio!
Io ho fatto.
Bravo!
Vai, vai!
Anna ferma! Vai! Ale!
That was a really nice half day in Portofino. A really nice way to end the afternoon in Portofino. Great view of the town and a full moon. Over that way, some good food.
Without me.
Oh, I thought you were
If you like this video, please click like below and subscribe to follow our adventures.